Hey dear friends, my name is Darren and this is the Virtually Redundant podcast. How's that for an intro, guys?
It's your boy here.
It's your boy here. Some YouTubers do the hey dear friends. Anyway, welcome to the Virtually Redundant podcast. We are joined by dipshit Daniel and no.
Wait, hold on a second here now.
And my beloved favorite Connor. Where's my episode?
Yeah, apology. You was a little bit fashionably late this week, but it's all good. Yeah.
I thought you were going to say fascist late, and I'm like, oh, that's very late.
60, 80 years probably later.
You're about like 8 years too late there with your fashion. No, yeah. What happened?
What's the happy happen?
Yeah, you must have been busy. There must be some juicy update for the week for the intro that you were so late to publish the episode that you've got like some tantalizing information.
Okay, I suppose there's a few things. Maybe first of all, I went a bit Kojima on the editing. I got a bit too deep, and like Kojima, my development cycle got a bit out of hand. But yeah, that's been arty or whatever. And professionally, I now actually work in video games. So yay! We're sort of qualified to talk about video games, I guess now.
Not at all.
Yeah, I don't agree.
Yeah, I've been in the IT industry, I've been programming for the last 10 years, and I'm not qualified to talk about it.
This is not imposter syndrome. This is just I can't do it. I'm just going to give up.
And today's episode, we're going to talk about crippling imposter syndrome. That's right, crippling imposter syndrome.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. No, it's not. But if you are BetterHelp, please sponsor us.
Please help us. You better. No.
Please help us to help you to help them.
It's the Steam summer sales. Are you excited? Are you both excited for the summer sales?
I don't know what to buy.
Same.
The Steam Deck is like really good discount, but it's all like sold out. So it's like the last thing you want to see on a digital Steam set. I know I'm ordering a Steam Deck, but like the last thing you think about on a like Steam sale is being sold out.
They did that before. There was actually a game that the CD keys ran out. Like I don't know what happened. Don't forget the company. Don't forget Valve when they run out. Like they have to go back to the vendor, and the vendor will be the game company. And the game company, like whatever they did, they couldn't generate more keys. Like their system they had was messed up. It wouldn't. And yeah, sold out. Good times.
Was that not Final Fantasy 11 sold out of keys? 14 sold out of keys.
Well, I could understand that to a point that like because you don't want too many people coming in, maybe they couldn't scale well, which is kind of like not what you want to hear from an MMO.
Yeah,
I know it was another game. It was a different game. It was a different game. I can't remember. It was many years ago.
Yeah, my wallet's safe this year. I think I'm not going to go as wild as I would have done in my younger days when they were like, you can buy these 300 games for 50 quid.
Like, the good news is we've become so cynical, everything stinks, Like I'm looking at everything going, no, shit, it's all shit. You're shit, this is shit, man.
So you're not buying any games? No video?
Probably buy something. Probably something, maybe. I don't know, something random. But no, the other thing is, I don't know if you've heard, but the Far Cry 1 source code got leaked. Far Cry 1 source code got leaked today. Yeah. So.
Like the Crytek code.
Yeah, the CryEngine 1, like whatever. Crytek.
I mean,
I know,
I don't feel like that's big of a deal.
Right.
Yeah, I know. It's not really that big of a deal. It's like, oh my god, they're going to delay Far Cry 1 again.
Yeah, I mean, like they've had public releases of CryEngine for years, so I don't think it's that big. It's not like their engine has been like super protected or anything for years. They've kind of have opened it up to people, so yeah, I don't think it's a big issue.
No, it's just it's a game file that wouldn't be included in the engine, but yeah, like it's just.
Yeah, and also it's been out for so long that maybe maybe it'll encourage people to download Far Cry 1 again. Get the modding community into gear. we'll be back with some jingles. Jingle jangles. So I was watching with my wife. We managed to start getting into kind of these like Korean comedies on Netflix. Oddly enough, and we were watching one called it's called Business Proposal, and it's just like a rom-commy type thing, and it was actually like based off of a manga. And I believe. I don't think anyone's going to correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't think anyone's probably read the manga or seen the TV show. But I think it was apparently like fairly faithful to the manga, which got me thinking about film adaptations. And I think we briefly alluded to when we talk about good movies and things we're looking forward to and stuff like that. But I guess what's your opinion on how far does things need to deviate before you would maybe hate it because it's a bad adaptation, or B, even just turn around and say, just don't call it that movie. I think we kind of referenced that before, whenever it's like, if you change it too much, just don't call it that movie. And I think the prime example for me, anyway, and is the Resident Evil movies, the one with, with the main character called Alice.
Mila Jovovich.
Djokovic is, Mila Djokovic, who I think is married to the director of the movies, which is nepotism at its finest, people. But what's your opinion on adaptations? Is there any ones that kind of sting you, or you're like, that's a really good adaptation?
I think for me, so adaptations is a fine line when it's sometimes if they're making their own standalone story in the universe. I think that's absolutely fine, as long as they follow some core rules that make sense within that universe. So there was this anime came out for Cyberpunk, which obviously Cyberpunk is not just a video game; it's based on a tabletop game series, and that actually was absolutely brilliant. We look at the kind of the League of Legends adaptation, brilliant, because it's using characters and stuff, but it's kind of an original story as well.
Yeah,
but they're kind of faithful to the rules of the world, and I think where a lot of places go wrong when they're not faithful to the rules that are established in that lore, which is probably why so many people are getting their pitchforks ready for The Witcher season 3 at the minute. But yeah.
Well, it's funny you say that, like when it keeps to the rules of the world of the Lord. Like I remember watching Arcane, and he just kept killing each other and respawning. That was great. That was a good. And then the minions kept spawning. It was a great TV series. Yeah, I know what you mean though. Like it's in the there's some poetic license. It's in the world. It's nice, but I definitely think some stuff just won't work, and they need to change it. Like for example, anything that's anime based that goes into live action. Look, it's not going to be the same. I'm sorry. People are expecting it to be like literally a carbon copy. It won't be. There's going to be some changes because it just doesn't work. Otherwise you're just going to CGI anime. Like, what's the point?
You heard it from here, everyone. Daniel loved, Avatar: The Last Airbender movie and the Dragon Ball movie. Daniel absolutely loved it. He said you have to take some creative liberties to that movie.
Who actually directed The Last Airbender? I remember it was some popular director.
M. Night Shyamalan, wasn't it?
Oh yeah. Where was my twist? Was there a twist? I can't remember if there was a twist. I don't think there was a twist.
Oh, I don't know if there was a twist or not. I can't remember. But do you think Netflix? I will say this for them canceling every fucking show that I like, right? At least for sometimes there. Some people might correct me. Some adaptations are really good, and I guess it depends. I guess the worst adaptation a lot of people got really upset about wasn't it like Death Note or something? They redid that, and a lot of people got
Cowboy Bebop would been the most tragic one.
Recent.
People got they butchered it apparently. But I know I've never saw the anime, never read anything about it, never saw it.
I've seen the
people I know.
Yeah. The anime was really good. No, sorry, not Cowboy Bebop. Sorry, I thought. I'm getting confused again. No, I've not seen it yet. I know they cancelled after one season because of it was panned, and I know they have a very, very strong fan base. I know Death Note, when they brought it to America and had an Americanized it, a lot of people hated that. Not even sure if they continued that or at all. But Death Note was quite good. The anime was really good. But yeah, no, I can't. Sometimes yes, they do kind of completely fuck it up, and I have no idea if it's dependent on which studio is doing it or whether it's a cultural things. Because I think maybe I feel like adaptations in some like in Japan are more kind of faithful. But then again, saying that, wasn't Attack on Titan like live action movie totally
I was
crap?
shy. I didn't like it. Yeah.
So yeah,
And
I don't know what
story
the
as well, like a bit, but so it wasn't good. I didn't like it.
Oh.
They're making an American one as well, which I don't know. You know.
I think when it comes to adaptations, a lot of it will depend on the source material. You know, is it a book? Is it a game? Is it an anime, a manga? You know, and sometimes that will dictate the amount of creative license that's available. I think sometimes what you can happen is they kind of sort of try to follow the story shot for shot as it was, but then they also try to do their own thing, which gets a bit weird. So I think I'm going to pull out a film that wasn't too popular and definitely has fallen off a lot of people's radar, which was I think it was the 2018 Tomb Raider film. So where they tried to remake they essentially tried to follow the story of the 2011, 2012 Tomb Raider kind of reboot, which was a good game in its own right. But then they sort of tried to merge the stories of the first Tomb Raider reboot game and the second one, but then didn't really give it the same budget or attention or anything, and it just kind of ended up being this weird mismatch of a film with terrible CGI and didn't really do anything for anyone, and it's kind of maybe that's where kind of is creatively bankrupt the right term? I don't know, but it's kind of where just you don't always have to follow a game story faithfully or this or that, but sometimes the worst thing you can do is try and cram too much in, or I don't know if I'm making my point clear,
but there is I'm funny you should mention that just as a side note. They are making a Tomb Raider TV series for Amazon,
which I think
might work out better maybe.
Yeah, I think what we started to see is for certain types of content, just adaptating, which in the past was the way, especially, let's adaptate everything to a film.
Yeah.
Because film was the highest revenue generating. Not everything works in a film format.
No.
Some things do, some things don't. I think video games are more naturally lended to TV show format. We've got the upcoming Fallout series. We've just had The Last of Us, which did pretty well.
Brilliant, yeah.
We've had Arcane, the Cyberpunk anime, which I mentioned there. TV looks like a much better fit, and maybe that's the problem sometimes is people trying to adaptate to the wrong format or the wrong, something that just doesn't suit what that's all about, what the story's all about.
A film is kind of like it should be self-contained. Like, so you have to do the introductions, you have to set up the world, you have to build it. So you can't really, I guess, do it too. You can't, if you're too quick with it,
would like to have
rushed.
a word.
Yeah, okay. So make 20 Tomb Raider movies, right? and then it'll be good.
Yeah, because that worked for DC in their extended universe. Yeah,
if they have to keep rebooting that, it's gonna. I can't understand why anyone would even want to watch it. Because every time you like, I think at the end of the day, like every time they announce a new Superman or Batman, you're like, okay, but why should I get invested in him? Because they're just gonna replace him. Yeah.
That's one thing I want to ask you. What do you think about the adaptations of the MCU then from the comics, from where it comes from? Like, do you enjoy it? Do you think it's good?
Yeah, I think for me, you can't do a direct, like you said, you can't go from comic to movie. You can't go from manga to movie or manga to TV. Sometimes you can't even go from TV to movie, like TV series to movie, because like when you make a movie about a TV series, it just doesn't make sense. Like it feels weird or wrong. It just feels like out of place. If you can think of anything like that, that'd be good. Kind of. Don't know any TV series that just could not port to movie format.
Now Sex and the City.
A lot of people probably. I know, like there is the ones like other way around, like like they made like Uncle Buck movie, a famous 1991 with your man John Candy and stuff like that, great actor. They made like an Uncle Buck TV series that I don't know, like so it doesn't work the other way around sometimes as well. It's kind of like I don't know, was this a cash grab or
One movie that became a TV series that I love was Stargate. Remember Stargate?
oh yeah, that's actually one. If you go back in time, right, and watch Stargate, but like pretend you don't know about the TV series, watch Stargate movie, you go, oh my god, what is this tripe, right? This is horrible. I don't like it. Now, maybe some people might agree. I don't, But then you go watch Stargate SG-1, and it's so fucking good. To the end, I don't care what anyone says. To the very end, Stargate SG-1 to me was brilliant. I hate Atlantis, and I didn't mind Universe. I did think they could have done a lot with it, but I'm annoyed they didn't. But Atlantis, I could care less about.
I like the movie.
They're rebooting Atlantis or Stargate.
No, Stargate.
All right, that is good. Hopefully, it's good. Hopefully, it's good. I do like it. They seem to be rebooting a lot of shit now. So
It's just easier to invest in because there's already like a fan base rather than a new IP.
There's all the fan base. All the fan base are still waiting for that MMO.
oh yeah, I remember that.
MMO?
Whatever happened?
Oh, the Stargate
MMO.
Yeah.
That was just going to
All
be
we
like
got
Star
was-
Trek Online or something.
Oh well, don't forget, Star Trek Online originally was meant to be really fucking like. Remember we got a screenshot. Remember another dev took over it. Remember the
Yeah.
Champions Online dev, Cryptic Studios or whatever they're called, like took them over. But yeah, the original Star Trek one was meant to be like you walk around a ship. You need multiple people to fly a ship. It was meant to be like fairly decent, but all we got was screenshots. Same with thing with Stargate SG-1. But then what they did was to raise money. They released a third-person shooter, a one-off thing. I played the beta of it, and it was meh, and it never got released. Just because and then they just went under.
How did you get the beta key?
I didn't. I cannot confirm or deny harassing anybody. But I got the beta key. I get if you want a beta key, contact me at virtuallyredundant@gmail.com.
It's back alley. It's like if you got any beta keys, it's like, oh man, got some good beta keys. Got the good stuff. I wish I could be. Do you know the way they like secretly screen movies to like people? I think I'd like beta access to movies, and then so that way I can pan them and be like, no, don't release this crap, please. I beg of you.
Well, your comment would be guarantee me you'll get like 6 seasons in a movie, otherwise I'm not going to get invested because if you cancel it, I will kill you. And I'm like, no, we're not going to release this. We can't promise anything to Darren. He's he has to have his blankie at the end, for closure.
What's the point of watching a movie that's just like it's not going to end? Like I might as well just start telling you shite. Like, okay, if the TV series From was cancelled, would you be upset? Would you be upset?
Would I be upset? I suppose, yeah. In some regard, I would be upset. I'm upset.
But yeah, exactly.
No, but I'm already upset because nobody talks in the show. Nobody talks. Guys, listen. Right, this is the context for our listeners, right? There's a TV series, but that's basically it's mystery box TV series, right? It's like
it's Lost too.
Yeah, Lost, yeah, and all these kind of exactly. Now, imagine you enter town and you cannot leave, and there's so many weird things going on. And imagine a weird thing happens to you, Darren, and weird thing happens to Connor, weird thing happens to me. Now, rather than go, Darren, Connor, let's try to make sense of this. Let's have a committee and we discuss everything. It might seem nuanced. There might be something that make not sense, but let's document everything and see what happens. But in the show, everyone's like, no, I'm not going to talk. I'm starting to see visions. No, who gives a shit? I see visions. Like, if I start seeing visions, if I was in this town, right, magical town where monsters come out every night, if I start seeing visions, I would tell someone because I'd be afraid that I could suddenly go insane and kill people. So I'd be like, okay, keep an eye on me because I might be one. No, but no, rather than being logical, they're just like, no, I'm not going to tell anyone. Oh, I'm seeing visions, and okay, fine. Who gives a shit anymore? Why bother? What's the point?
I feel like if you're listening to this podcast and you're a professional like writer, you're probably not listening to this crap. But if you are, I feel like you need to set out like the world and the story, like because sometimes I'm worryingly thinking that the writers of some shows, they just think adding mysteries and they're like, oh, we'll just tie it up. Remember the symbols from Game of Thrones? Did they mean anything? Yeah. I don't fucking know. Do you know? No. Do you know, Connor? Did anyone know what the symbols meant? No. But I feel like the writers just went, fuck it. Hey, fuck it.
No,
they
what
explain
actually
that.
happened was Bran just kind of forgot, you know. Fuck those symbols,
But
you know. He just,
I
just like
mean,
Daenerys forgot, about the Iron Fleet. He just forgot. Okay, you know. He's only Morg, or whatever he is. I don't know what he is anymore. He's not human anymore, you know. So yeah, I don't know anymore.
but why? But why? What? Like,
Why?
think of like the world you're building, and everything has to connect. Now, I'm not the kind of person who says no, everything has to be explained. Of course not. I leave things as some mysteries. Like, if you read the Song of Ice and Fire books, which is like Game of Thrones and all that, there's a lot of mysteries that are really interesting that you'd like to get solved, and you know it'll never get solved. It'd be like an aunt went off or an uncle went off and they were never seen again, and they won't go on about that because who knows they're dead and who knows they're happy, but the story can't explain everything, right? I like that. That's building an actual world where there's some mystery, right? But if the core part of your fecking kind of book plot point is a mystery that you never solve, that kind of pisses me off, like, to no end. And that's why when you cancel something, it's kind of like a slap in the face, because it's like, the writers get out of jail. Like, I wonder if most cancelled TV shows are actually just like the writers go into the room and like, yeah, we don't know how to finish this, and they're like, we'll just cancel it. It's fine. We'll cancel it.
Right?
We'll cancel it.
Let's say, would you be? Let's say, like, now here's a kind of a weird question, because it's kind of, you have to think about outside the box. Would you rather them not make season 8 of Game of Thrones and leave it hanging, and be like angry that they left it hanging, or to have a season 8 release and the tripe that it was? Which one would you prefer?
I would prefer it to get released, right? And that's probably going to be controversial to some people, because they'll be like, oh, they know. Then at least, like, I know it left a bad taste in your mouth, but it then shows that the writers didn't know what they were doing, and they wrote themselves into like a corner that they couldn't get. Now, it might not be the writer's fault. It might be what definitely was a budget problem, because I believe that
it was a budget. I think the people wanted out. They literally, because I remember reading that they said we could do more episodes, they could do another season, but the writers from, now I could be wrong, but the writers wanted out.
I think on Game of Thrones it was actually the two showrunners.
Yeah, no, sorry, not the writers.
The two showrunners got bored, quote unquote, bored of the show, and they wanted to wrap up the project. And I think there was people that probably would have liked to hang on a bit longer, wait for George R. R. Martin to stop getting sidetracked, and finish the plot point. But I think they would have liked to finish out. But I think the showrunners were like, no, we want to wrap it up, and we've been working on this for 8 years, and which you can understand a little bit, but they definitely just compromised the quality. I think they just were like, right, let's wrap it up, and by that very act, they probably boxed the writers into a corner with trying to figure out how to wrap it up in one season, which wasn't so. To be fair to the writers, it probably wasn't their fault in that one. I think they were probably told, you have a season to wrap up all these plot points, figure it out, and they were probably like, oh fuck, like
but to the showrunners, don't commit to like a massive universe, like a story that has like loads of different plot points and loads of different things, that you're literally committing to like several years of kind of, and fair enough, they could like the adaptation, I felt like maybe for the first couple of seasons was quite good. They did start to diverge a bit in the later kind of season, quite like there was some divergence in the first couple of seasons. There was a lot more divergence in the later season, and I think a lot of people started getting annoyed towards like, season 4 and 5 onwards, just because
I'm not joking. I actually liked up until like I liked season 7 as well. I thought I still enjoyed it up until literally the last season is what really annoyed me. Like season 7, I thought was decent. I liked when it ended and they came through the wall, and thought it was like, hey, like it's beginning, it's good. Like I never read the source material, but I thought it was good. But season 8 definitely quality just went like downhill.
I think season 7, I think the biggest problem people had where it was that you could tell things were starting to get rushed fast. People were teleporting everywhere just to set it up for season 8. If that makes sense, like the things were just happening that people like. That's when you saw people starting to get really annoyed. Like season 6 definitely was good. There was was season 6 Hard Home, like the Hard Home? No, that wasn't season 6.
No, I can't. The problem with 8, right, was that every ending of everyone's story, like everyone's arc, was shit, right? Utter shit, right? Jaime Lannister redemption arc. Fuck you, I'm gonna go back to it. I was like, oh sure, why not? You spent 3 seasons like redeeming yourself only to be like who cares? Who cares? You're going back to her, right? Who cares? And die with her, right? Then you had like Bran. It was like, okay, he's seen all this stuff. He sees the world and stuff like that. Oh, what was that comment he made? He was like, I was waiting for you to ask. It's like, yeah, I'm sure you were.
Why did you think I came?
Yeah,
he said, why did you think I came?
Here? Yeah, because like who's the best stories? Clearly, the writers should have just been the writers themselves should have just been king of Westeros. Why not? Like let's go meta. Let's just go meta. Why not? Like they have great stories.
I mean, you could have done a Deadpool thing. Yeah, weird.
Yeah,
Brad just turned not Brad. Like Tyrion just looks to the screen, and then one of the writers is like, "Oh yeah, sure," comes on and sits down.
He goes behind the camera, so in a proper like modern day clothes.
the director comes in and sits down. And he's like, "Yeah." And then my dad became king of Westeros, and it was the best king ever.
But then you had Arya, who was faceless man who learned all the trades. Like, no, I want to go west. What's west of Westeros? Because apparently that's something that was always, whatever. I don't give a shit. And then Jon Snow returning to the north is like, man, that's depressing. But I guess fine. Maybe it's not too bad, but whatever. And then Sansa, what? Oh, she's just. Yeah, I can't remember.
I find it.
I think the only one that really wrapped up in a weird way was the Jon Snow one, because at least it was sort of consistent with the themes of the show, where it's not always a happy outcome or heroic thing.
I don't remember one happy outcome ever.
You know what I mean? So that's the only.
No, but that's it. That's what I mean. Yeah. That's why.
But everything else was like, yeah, we're happy. Look, Bran is this, he's that, and it was just like, what's going on here? Like, this isn't a happy show. I don't watch it for happiness or whatever.
I really wish I was good at editing videos, because I literally show the end, like literally when Jon Snow was walking through the wall and going north, and then literally like the Brady Bunch comes up with all the Starks, like they're Brady. I just ended that way. That would have been better.
Well, I mean, I don't get the Jon Snow thing as well, because it's like, okay, was he going back to the Night's Watch, or is he banished from Westeros?
Like, and Bran is such a dickhead. It's like, oh yeah, this is everything that happened. This had to be this way because this was all planned. Bran is Jesus Christ, right? He's God, right? Because this is all he's foresaw this all, and he's basically like, oh yeah, Jon Snow, you have to get fuck off to the north. You can enjoy prick. Is like, oh good.
Yeah, but thank you. What, the wall's down. The wall's down. He's not going back to the Night's Watch. He gets to fuck up. He gets to be a wildling for the rest of his life. Because the winter's gone.
He's banned. Well, we don't know that. Like, we assume it's gone, but it's still winter.
He's banned from the six. No, he's banned from 6 kingdoms, because technically the Starks are independent. So he's banned from he can just dick around Winterfell if he wanted to, because Sansa is not part of the 7 kingdoms anymore. He became independent. So he banned him from the south. Oh no, he can't go to the south. I can't be in the south anymore. Oh no.
In the summer's time where the weather is fine.
I suppose it goes back to they're not following their own rules that they've just created again.
Yeah.
They're not. Yeah. Like think about it, right? The Iron Fleet, which are known for rebellions constantly, right? They're sitting there going, okay, we'll yield to you, Bran. We'll yield to you. And Sansa's like, no. And then the Iron Fleet are like, no, we'll still yield to you, Mr. On Wheelchair. It's like, I'd expect the Iron Fleet to rebel after Sansa says she's independent. It made no sense. Like, all the characters just decided to act full derpy, and the Iron Fleet is like, oh yeah, it's like everything needs to be paid for in iron, so you kill what you earn and all that. Oh, what's this? This guy's good at telling stories. Fuck you, you're my king. Yeah, it's like what? Why?
I still don't get the for me, when it came to Daenerys, right? Very, very quickly she went mad. It literally felt like we're in the space of 2 episodes.
Oh, it's the bells. The bells. No, it was the bells.
No, yeah, that's what I mean. It's literally the bells that cause her to go insane. Maybe someone should have ball bells are banned around this bitch, I don't know, man. It's so stupid. I don't like it. And then there's the dragon's like, oh, he kills Daenerys, and the dragon loves her, and the dragon looks at him, and then goes and then burns the Iron Throne. It's like, but what does that mean? Why didn't he kill Jon Snow? Does he look at Jon Snow and goes, this is what must be done, young child, and then the Iron Throne must be melted and what is this?
Because the Iron Throne. Maybe he thought the Iron Throne killed Daenerys. He's like, oh my god, there's pointy stuff. She must have sat on that pointy thing. I must kill Daenerys.
Yeah, let that stupid chair kill someone else again.
Kill the
I agree. I have no idea. And then they're like, oh,
I hate it.
like I'm gonna go look for the dragon, and it's like that'll probably be a
Why?
better story. Yeah, because fuck it, he's just going to be dicking around as a raven. Like, oh, do you remember King Bran? Oh, you mean the guy who's just sitting there with his eyes white for the past like 3 years? Yeah.
Like, but no one makes any sense, man. The more I think about it, the more confusing, the more I get angry. Let's get off this, man. I hate it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's kind of as good. There's an adaptation that was good and then bad and then just got awful.
It was all the adaptations in one.
Yeah, we should have started a Game of Thrones section. But anyway, we'll be back. For next week, Daniel, you're the host. What's on the agenda?
I actually might do the off-planet. With I might actually do the. Shut up. Yeah, I might do with Connor just the off-planet topic that I did with you, Darren, just to see what Connor thinks, and we can bust his balls about it. You know what I mean? Like, just see where it goes from there. You know.
So next week it's all about Connor. How good! Next week it's
lovely.
Connor week. All
Give
about
the
Connor.
townspeople what they want. Give the townspeople what they want.
Yeah, which is some audible sound effects. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's Connor being silent. That's what they want. And one other segment for next week is actually TV crossovers. So there's actually, I was looking at this the other day, and there's a lot of TV crossovers of shows that you kind of go, huh? But like, yeah. So we'll be talking about TV crossovers, and I'll bring it. You don't need to. So for your homework this week, you don't need to do anything. I will bring a few examples, and just to talk about what type of TV crossovers you two would like to see personally. Stargate and Star Trek, maybe? No? Star Wars and Star Trek? No? Maybe?
Oh, I thought for crossovers you meant like that time MMO tried to cross over with a TV series.
No, that was no proper TV crossovers. Like, you know, like the obvious ones. A lot of people would say, like, obviously in the DC universe, all that kind of, you know, stuff. But there's actually crossovers of other, like, normative, like, for example, simple ones that are continuations, like, would be Cheers and Frasier. Like, that's a simple, nice one that kind of continue on. But there's one where, like, you know, like Everyone Loves Raymond and King of Queens, like those crossovers. But I don't want to tell too much. We'll talk about it next time.
Cool. And any plans for the week? They have no plans. They have no life. You see, listeners, when this call ends, we just stare at each other until the next episode starts.
No, we just stop existing and then just come back again when you listen to us again. It's just, that's just how the universe works. You know what I mean? When as the listener listens to us, we cease to exist when they stop. That's just how it works everywhere. No plans really. Just gonna take a chill pill. You can get them over the counter in this day and age. No, I'm only joking. Yeah. So
yeah, I don't know, make Little Venice Part 2 in my kitchen. Who knows?
Oh yeah, how is your leaky breaky?
It's not leaking anymore, but there's plenty of other problems, you know. But it's all good.
Plenty of breaky, not enough leaky.
I'm missing part of a ceiling, but it's all good. I'll fix it.
What?
To be continued.
Have you tried looking up?
Have you tried not breaking into your ceiling? What are you doing with the way you start holding your ceiling?
My controller's inverted. I can't look up, you know.
You just do the opposite. It's like, yeah, I guess, Connor. No, but what's wrong with your ceiling? Why do you have a hole in your ceiling?
I don't know. I had to knock down a wall, and some of the plasterboard came with it. So yeah, it's all good.
Wait, you see, the wall is in front of you. The ceiling's above you. You know, that's the key difference. Like,
so
if you're throwing your hammer up.
Yeah, but like we live in concrete. Like this is what, like, so for Americans and some Scandinavian stuff, we don't have, like, Connor doesn't live in a timber frame house. It's brick, so he's just smashing with a sledgehammer a brick wall. Yeah. Probably a support beam, maybe. Who knows?
No. I know what I'm doing. I'm not a professional, but don't try this at home. But I know what I'm doing. Yeah, it's all good.
Well, I don't know, man.
You aimed at a wall and you're missing ceiling.
Anyway, just to use an Irish expression, it'll be grand, okay?
And next week,
it'll be the Grand Canal, maybe. Yeah, sure.
Okay, bye-bye, everyone. Have a good week.
Bye-bye.
Enjoy the editing, Darren.
Fuck you.